checklist. Alright guys, I'm on YouTube now. Jeez, I'm going to start making a checklist of things to do that I always forget. YouTube, unmuting the game. I've been streaming for an hour and a half, and I completely forgot I did not hit that. That's so stupid. Thank you, Alucard, for letting me know. Now, you can put me on the big screen. Thank you so much. But, you know, I was talking about the loss of James Vanderbeek for the YouTube crowd. Don't ever listen to people say that, you know, you're too young. You know, that's a cop-out thing they say to make you feel better, which is fine. But in reality, the big C can hit you at any age. Like I said, just turn on Food Network, turn on you know, the Game Show Network, and during the commercials, between the drug commercials, you're gonna see, you know, St. Jude's, Shriners Hospital, things like that, and those are kids. And I have absolutely my heart breaks for kids that have to go through that. It breaks my heart because kids they don't have a chance, and they already have shit like that. You know, it's one thing if you got oh, is there? And I bet you he hated it because he hates everything. Cecil didn't like anything. He probably hates oxygen, honestly. But you know, kids don't have a chance, and you know, a 5-year-old kid that ends up with cancer it just breaks my heart. Now, if it's a 50-year-old guy, I'm 50 years old. If I came out and said, yeah, I smoked cigarettes, I smoked cigarettes for 30 plus years, and I have you know, lung cancer because of it. It sucks. I'd feel bad. I would hate it. But you know what? Kinda asked for it. And what does he say it can do? I know there are people out there who have this soft spot for Adam Sessler and X-Play, and I can flat out tell you, Sessler he is not a good dude. He never has been. It's like a little computer. You can play PS1 games at better quality than your original. Oh, well, of course it's like a little computer. Thank you, Sessler, for explaining to me what a frickin' computer is. All game consoles are frickin' computers. Well, was it what you sent me that said that Microsoft's new console is going to be a PC hybrid? All of Microsoft consoles are PC hybrids. They all have Windows on them, for Christ's sake. Oh, jeez. I never met him. When I was working at the old Game Slop, I used to watch X-Play a lot. One of which was because I wanted to look at Morgan Webb. But anyway, and I was just single at the time, so I'm allowed to do that. But I would watch the show, and I thought, you know what, Sessler and I, he's maybe a little older than me. I would like to, I bet you he and I could, you know, sit down and sit down somewhere and have a drink and really just have a lot to talk about with games. I think that would be really cool to be able to talk to somebody who sees things through the same lens that I do. So I followed him on she was nice though, Cold Hands. Yeah, well, that's a lot of gals have cold hands. She was married for she is married, but she through her whole thing with X-Play, she was married through that whole thing. I think that's the funniest thing about that, is that she was like a heartthrob and a half to a lot of people, and she never told anyone she was married. And every time they interview about, well, you know, that you have all these male male guys that have the hots for you, and they do this stuff, and she goes, "Yeah, I think it's kind of sweet." She was so smart to do it that way. So I followed Sessler on Twitter, and I was like, all right, you know, we'll see. I think we would have a lot to talk about. He seems like he'd be my kind of guy. And so I followed him on Twitter, and I found out, probably within the first 6 months or so, that he is just not a nice person. That he is very, very just mean. He's not even snarky. He's just downright mean. Like it's the only time he's nice is when he's trying to sell you something. Everything else, he is just such a... Like I said, I think he hates oxygen. He seems like he just does not get joy out of anything in life. At all. And I wish I could be more, nice about it, because I'm not really that kind of person, but when you watch someone just completely destroy any goodwill that he might have had with somebody, with people, the way that he did. And I was one of the ones, for the record, that when they were doing the reboot, and they said Sessler was coming back, I was one of the ones that was like, that's not a good thing. You know, Kevin Pereira coming back to attack the show. Okay, yeah, I get that. Kevin Pereira. I've met Kevin Pereira, nice guy, very funny, very quick-witted. His shtick on TV is not a shtick. He really is that fast when it comes to mental acuity and having the one-liners. He really is that fast. But Sessler, I was like, no, Sessler needs to stay away. He's gonna do a lot of damage to your brand. Little did I know that it wasn't really him that did the damage. It was Frost Curran, but he didn't help. He damn sure didn't help. He was applauding her. And chances are he was applauding her because she was taking some of the attention off of his stupid ass. But so, Sessler's not a good person. He's not a nice guy. He's just... So, I hope I'm not raining on anybody's, like, nostalgia parade here about that, but... I watched him early on, and I was following him on social media, and Jesus Christ, he's just nothing in the world would bring him joy. That's the whole thing, is that every little thing that happened in life he hated it with the passion of 10.5 red hot suns, it felt like. So for those who are asking how I'm level 50 whatever, it's by doing what I'm doing right now, actually. Oh, she got it.
Sure.
She got Sage, so next up is Pirate. And the thing is I don't know who brought more snark to the show, because they were both snarky there towards the end. But was it Morgan Webb or was it Sessler? Although Webb outlasted Sessler. For those who don't know about kind of the rise and the fall of the original G4, we all know about the rise and fall of the reboot, because it was doomed from the get-go. the original G4, I mean, there was Tech TV and there was G4. G4 bought Tech TV, blah, 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 yakety schmackety. But they used to have a whole ton of original content on their network, okay, on their cable network. There was a whole ton of stuff that they put on their show or put on their network, and it was all, a lot of it was kind of the same. Dang it, I can't believe I just did that, and I did do it.
Sure.
It would be a show about video games or a show about pop culture. And I did do that. It would always be a guy and a girl, or just a girl. And the thing is, so many of them were the same. There were so many of the same show. They called them different things, but a lot of them were the same show, and just with different hosts. And I was like, this is not that good. And basically, they had two shows that survived when G4 was going down the tubes. They started cutting all these shows. So a bunch of these shows were just completely gutted, and they only two survived because of the ratings to continue producing new shows, and that was Attack of the Show, which was the Kevin Pereira, Olivia Munn show. Although Olivia Munn left, and they replaced her with, I can't remember her name. I can see her face, but I can't remember her name. And then they did X-Play, which was Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb, and they continued to produce new shows of those every day. I'm sure they got weeks off or whatever, but they would produce regular episodes of those. But episodes of every other show, they would either show them in syndication or they just got rid of them altogether. Your Unfiltered, your Arena, Cheat, shows like that. They got rid of a lot of those. And like I said, if they showed them at all, it would be in syndication. And Pereira stayed till the end. Morgan Webb stayed till the end. But Sessler was fired. I don't remember what his explanation was for getting fired, but I do remember the episode that he got fired because they fired him on set. He was standing next to Morgan Webb, and he was doing a... Yeah, I don't disagree with Alucard. That's a reason. Netflix didn't kill it, but the concessions helped, and so did the shitty content. Yeah, exactly. Who wants to pay $40-50 for food and tickets to go watch a substandard film that you'll be able to watch on Amazon Prime in a couple of weeks? Or Netflix, But anyway, Webb was standing next to Sessler, and they were hosting this thing, and they were doing the out of it. They were signing off, and as soon as Sessler said his last thing, like, we'll see you next time on X-Play or whatever, he turned like this and looked, and that was the last time we saw Adam Sessler on G4, was him turning his head to look at, here comes the higher ups at G4 to let him know that he's done. Like I said, I think that Morgan Webb stayed till the end. But Morgan Webb was more bankable at that, and I think one of the reasons that they got rid of Sessler was, and I don't know the exact reason. Damn right we do. Big screen 4K TVs. I don't need to go to see something in IMAX. I got IMAX. I'm looking at IMAX right here. My room's not big enough. My game room isn't big enough for a theater system. Like, I don't like for surround sound, but if I when we retire, we talk about moving, and if I get a big enough game room, you bet your ass I'm getting surround sound for that. I'm gonna have the big speakers and everything. Assuming I can afford it. But I have a feeling that part of the reason that Sessler was let go is because of his affinity for pissing off the fans, you know. The one thing you don't want to do is if you are on in a entertainment medium like that, if you're on television and your whole thing is to get people to tune in to watch you, and you're taking every chance you can on social media to attack the people that are watching you, then yeah, I can see why they would want to get rid of him. You can get a pretty decent soundbar for less than a couple $100. Yeah, I can get a pretty decent one during Black Friday sales for less than $100. But getting full surround sound is not cheap.
Oh.
Like when I got this TV, my 8K TV, I was working at the time. That's how I could afford it. I ended up getting a soundbar to go with it because I was reading that the Samsung televisions had an adaptive sound system that hooked up to your television, and you could have where the TV speakers actually work with your sound bar to produce the sound where it will predict how much sound you need to go here, there, and the other. That's why. Yeah, and the truth is that I'm not an expert on audio stuff. Video stuff I'm pretty decent with. Although some of the refresh rates and stuff I'm still a little daft on, but audio stuff, I mean, it can be pretty weird. And like this TV, like I said, Samsung TV, Samsung soundbar. I could hook up this TV through Bluetooth. The Samsung TV will hook up automatically to the soundbar, but I won't get the HD quality sound that I get through hooking it up through an HDMI cable. Which begs me to ask the question to Samsung, why bother having it? If I'm not going to have the same quality sound coming through the soundbar wirelessly that I have hooking it in through an HDMI, then why would I have it wired? Why would you even include it wirelessly? But I know there's probably reasons for it, but I want quality. I didn't spend the money I spent on this soundbar because I wanted decent quality. I want great quality. I think if I read this properly, this soundbar I've got from Samsung, I could probably find speakers to go with it. But like I said, my game room is like a shoebox, and it's not a big one. So if I were to put surround sound speakers in here, it would probably shake the walls. So there's really no sense of me doing that. I bought a Samsung soundbar, so this better last long. And it wasn't a cheap one either. I didn't go with the, you know, $100 soundbar. Because of the TV, I sprung and got the best soundbar without going bananas for the price. Because there's always a trade-off. I remember when I was looking at TVs, I'm sure folks know what I'm talking about here, is that when you're dealing with your televisions, there's always this trade-off when it comes to size, where you're going, oh, I want a 40-inch TV. Cool, 40. 50-inch TV is only, you know, if it's, let's just say $500. $500 for a 40-inch TV. Oh, a 50-inch TV is only $50 more. Okay, well, we'll go 50. Oh, well, a 60-inch TV is only $100 more than that. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, well, a 75-inch TV is going to cost you $400 more than that. Okay, there's the trade-off. I'm not going to go with a 65-inch TV. You know, that there's always that trade-off. Yeah, audiophiles will definitely know. I would ask you those questions. You know more about audio stuff than I do, Alucard. But there's always that trade-off where you're getting to the point where, okay, all right, that's an okay upgrade. That's an okay upgrade. And then you get to the point where it becomes crazy, and then you go, okay, now that's a little much. I'm not going to spring for that. Although, to be honest with you guys, nowadays it's not like that. You're more video and audio. Okay, so you know more about video. Nowadays you have people that are these TVs, when you walk into you know, Walmart or whatever, and they have like an 85-inch television there on the floor for $600. You're like, geez, oh, I'm gonna get that. A flat panel, 85-inch flat panel for $600. That's a great deal. Yeah, until you get home and you realize the refresh rate and, you know, maybe who made it. It might be Vizio. It's probably not Sony or LG or Samsung. Oh, dude, we're always... You should always be learning. You know that. No one knows everything. I don't know everything. I'll never know everything. Even if you're an expert, you should still be learning, because you're not an expert on everything. No one knows everything about something. There's always something to learn. I've said it a million times, guys. That you know, I know when it comes to video game stuff, video game business, I'm an expert. Okay, I've worked in the industry for 15 years. I'm highly educated. I know a lot about the business of video games. That being said, I don't know everything. So always be learning. Always open your mind up. Never think that you can't learn something from somebody else, because you can. Yeah, I've never ripped things like that. I don't have the space for that kind of stuff as far as you know, hard drive space. You must have like terabytes and terabytes of hard drives somewhere. I wouldn't be shocked if you did. Let's see, we had a... Yeah. I used to be friends with some folks that would do things like that. That the guy had an entire I don't want to say a mainframe, but down in his basement, he had this huge cabinet that was just full of hard drives. There's no telling how much space he had. And on there he had just oodles and gobs of movies and TV shows and music and games, and he would just pull it up on his TV and I mean, they had access to all this shit. And I guarantee you they had, and this was probably 20 years ago. This was about 20 years ago. So they had tons of space. They had to have it. They had to have tons of space. You just, but you again, you just never know everything. And of course, I believe he was like an electrical engineer. I think he built components for computers. I never asked him what he did. I didn't really care. All I know is that we had a big falling out because they couldn't handle it. That I didn't agree with them politically on everything. It was one of those kind of friendships where they would invite you over to watch movies and stuff with them, and you'd walk in and you could tell that you were the topic of conversation before you showed up. Like they were actually talking and making fun of you before you showed up. And I just got sick of it and just said, you know what? Checking out. I'm done. And yeah, that stuff pissed me off. Really did. You know what? Back in the desert was better for this. There's just more to kill here, so faster, so we actually will get location levels faster this way. See, just a lot more. A lot more, a lot faster. Yeah, I was pretty pissed off at the way things ended with them, because I did so much for those people too. It was I lived less than like 5 miles from them. Like I lived basically one subdivision over from them in Aurora, Illinois. So whenever they needed something, if they went out of town to go to a convention or something, and they needed someone to watch their cats and their dog, I would do it, and I wouldn't question that. I never asked for any money or anything. I just did it because I was their friend. And she would also, the wife would also text me and ask me if I would, do things like, can you go to Walgreens and bring me some Tylenol because we're out and I'm really sick. Yeah, sure, no problem. And that's the kind of stuff I would do. Come to find out, none of it was appreciated. None of it. So am I salty about it? Yes. But I have a reason to be salty about it. Because when you do things like that for people, and then you find out that it's not appreciated, and they're making fun of you behind your back. I was like, so that's cool. You guys are bullies, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take my ball and go home. And I haven't talked with them since. I went over to their house and got back. I let them borrow a whole bunch of my games and movies and books, and I went over there with a box and said, "Give me all my shit. I'm done." But that's because they weren't really ever my friends. I was used. I did not know that, actually. Fix-It Felix. Do they even still... I know Fix-It Felix was on the iTunes store for a while. Is it even still there? Do I even still have it? Oh, am I being raided? Okay. Oh, you did it. Hey, Derek, thank you for the raid. Sorry, I missed it. Howdy, howdy, howdy. I had the window covered up because of my YouTube problem, and I missed it. See, I always miss this shit. Thank you for the raid, Derek. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Alucard, for bringing it to my attention. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. How was your stream? I hope you had a great stream. Just happened. Good. I didn't miss it. Why, if I do anything on my streaming laptop and I end up getting off the screen for a second, I cover up the window for Rumble sometimes, and I don't see it. And it's just one of those things I get better at. Final Fantasy II. All right. American Final Fantasy II, or like the actual Final Fantasy II? Like Final Fantasy IV or at the actual Final Fantasy II? Come on, let's get it on. I want to get his jobs up. PS1 USA. Okay, so PlayStation 1 Final Fantasy II is actually the Japanese Final Fantasy II. Final Fantasy Origins, right? The numbering for Final Fantasy, for those who don't know, in the West has been was suspect up until 7, where they fixed everything. Cool, cool. Here, basically, what happened here is we got Final Fantasy 1, and then Final Fantasy 2 and 3 were on the original Nintendo, and we didn't get them. What is this? Jason Momoa, Helldivers movie, really? Okay. Well, Momoa's got a lot of charisma. Final Fantasy 1 was our Final Fantasy 1. The Japanese and American Final Fantasy 1s are the same. But 2 and 3 did not come out here until later. We didn't get 2 until the PlayStation, and we didn't get 3 until the Nintendo DS. Final Fantasy Origins. See, I'm correct. So, when they released Final Fantasy 2 here, it was on the Super Nintendo, and it was actually the Japanese Final Fantasy 4. Then they skipped 5. We didn't get 5 until the PlayStation 1. But we did get 6, which they called Final Fantasy 3. So if you own Final Fantasies 1 through 3 on the Nintendo systems here in North America, they are Final Fantasies 1, 4, and 6 in Japan. 2, 3, and 5 didn't come out until the PlayStation 1 after the big Final Fantasy boom of 7. Final Fantasy 7 set JRPGs on fire, and then they turned around and just... Square, we could not get Final Fantasies out fast enough, so they went back and they released 2, and 5, and then we didn't get 3 until the Nintendo DS, which was the 3D remake. The original version of Final Fantasy 3 really only came out here on the Pixel remasters here a couple years ago. Yes, that's correct. It was some tech leaps, that's for certain. Oh, he's got Dancer maxed out. We need to get him off of Dancer.
Sure.
And he's almost done with Mage. Take him down to Thief. They are, because video games are the medium that they have not been able to really crack well to make good quality movies that are making money, or just actually more profitable, I guess is the best way to put it, and that has been breached. The Sonic games have all turned into movies. The Sonic movies have made money. Mario obviously made a whole ton of money. Minecraft made a whole ton of money. So they're just like comic books were 25 years ago. The big thing everybody wanted to cash in on. Now it's video games, and you're gonna start seeing more video game movies coming out. Oh, I already have. Now I got that one done.
Sure.
Yeah, Iron Lungs made some money. That's was it Markiplier who did that? But game movies are going to be the new comic book stuff here coming up, because of the stories are there, the fan bases are there. Movie companies love existing fan bases, at least they used to. Yeah. Well, it's... Oh, that's great then. I didn't realize it was based off of a game. That's even better. The thing, Alucard, you got to keep in mind is with, like with Mario, the Mario movie had a lot going for it. The first thing is that I'm pretty sure damn near everybody who worked on it grew up with Mario, so they were like, we want to get this right. We want to get this, get the nostalgia correct. And then they also had, and I said this before, and I'll say it again, not 1 second of that movie was on screen without the express written consent of Miyamoto. There's no way. Yeah, that's right. We need do the Resident Evil movies right, because the first batch of Resident Evil movies were, hey guys, my wife is Mila Jovovich. Look how hot she is. We're going to make her kick a whole bunch of ass. And then they rebooted it and with Welcome to Raccoon City, which didn't do very well. Not very good. But Derek is right. Let's do some Resident Evil. Let's get Resident Evil correct. Oh, Derek, you have no idea, brother. Some of those older video game movies, Double Dragon, I think was the first video game movie I ever saw. I went and saw it in the theaters, and it is as bad as it's not a piece of shit. It's a whole shit. Double Dragon is so bad. Uwe Boll he's a moron. He bought up all the rights to those franchises because he knew he could cash in on the existing audience and then put no money behind production. Yeah, Uwe Boll, House of the Dead, Uwe Boll, Blood Rain, Uwe Boll, Postal, Uwe Boll. Didn't he do a Far Cry movie? Uwe Boll. They were bad. Yep. The use of Termin Jack's Loop, yeah. His movies are so bad. EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly, had a guy that exclusively reviewed bad games. Like, he knew they were bad, and he would play them and review them in an ironic way. And he went by the name of Sean Baby. So you would go into well, Tekken was done by the Japanese, I think. Oh, Tekken wasn't Uwe Boll, but Tekken was pretty bad. Although that chick they got to play what's her face was really hot in that. Sean Baby. I was talking about Sean Baby. Sean Baby he would review like the Barbie games and things like that. He knew they would be bad going into them. Well, when they were doing these Uwe Boll was doing these video game movies, Sean Baby was really pissed off about it, and so people were going after Boll about how bad his movies were, and Boll is an amateur boxer, I believe. So he said he basically challenged any of his detractors to a fight. He's like, if you guys want to meet me out back, I'll fight anybody who doesn't like my movies. And Sean Baby stepped up and said, I'll fight you. But Sean Baby was training in, I believe, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something like that. So Boll kind of backtracked on the fight offer when he found out that someone who was trained in MMA had taken him up on his challenge. Street Fighter Alpha movie. I don't remember the Alpha movie. Are you talking about the animated one? The Street Fighter movie, the hilarious thing is that the Raul Julia Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter movie is bad, but it's not bad. It's actually kind of a cult classic in a way because Raul Julia is so charismatic. He is so good that it's worth watching just to watch him just ham up every scene that he's in. It's so good. I didn't know they made a Street Fighter Alpha live-action movie. Where was it made? He does have his fans. You're right, Derek. There are people who love like his Blood Rain movies. I don't know why. I've tried to watch Blood Rain. They're not good. Even when he got some pretty hot chicks to play Blood Rain, and I still couldn't watch him. Who was in the Alpha movie? Yeah, it was Julia's last movie. He died shortly thereafter. The poor guy from cancer, but he basically Raul Julia had more charisma in his frickin' left nut than most people have, in their entire bloodline. He was so good. So I was... I haven't gotten Desi to sit down and watch Street Fighter yet, but that day is coming. I do have Street Fighter in 4K. With the $100 in... the 100 Bison dollars. I have 100 Bison dollars. I should put a picture of that up on Twitter again sometime. I don't remember that movie, Alucard. I don't remember the Street Fighter Alpha movie. I remember Street Fighter, the movie. I remember the Legend of Chun-Li, which is as bad, if not worse, than any of the video game movies. It might not be Double Dragon bad, but it's in that conversation. I don't remember the Alpha movie. Desi and I go through funny stuff when it comes to the movies that we watch. Is that because she's a big rom-com person, so we'll go through a bit where she makes me watch rom-coms, and I'll go through a bit where I make her watch, Star Wars and Marvel and shit like that. I don't remember that movie. I'd have to. Who played Ken? Because I would have seen it. I saw The Legend of Chun-Li, which is, again, one of the worst, not just one of the worst video game movies, just one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I don't see how it got greenlit. It has as much to do with Street Fighter as the bowl of mac and cheese I had for lunch. The script of that movie was, well, I mean, it just, no one matched up to anything in Street Fighter. It was not a Street Fighter movie when they first brought it out. When they first bought the script, I guarantee you, somebody bought that script at wherever, Paramount, Universal, whoever the hell released that monstrosity, and said, well, Chun-Li's a police officer in the game, but we can make her a concert pianist. Bison is a maniacal dictator in the games, but we could make him from a gang leader from the tough streets of Thailand. Neil McDonough can play him. There was a couple of Street Fighter animes. Street Fighter V is the one that was the most decent. I remember that. I've never watched the whole thing, but I know that it was really popular. When then they did Street Fighter the movie, or maybe it was the movie first and they did V, but Street Fighter the movie is probably the most famous one because Bryan Cranston was the voice of Fei Long in that. He was not credited as Bryan Cranston, but he's Bryan Cranston. If you listen to him talk, you go, oh god, that's Walter White. Assassin's Fist. I've never heard of that. It had to be direct-to-video or something. And then they did an animated movie that was a tie-in to Street Fighter 3 or 4, I think. I have it around here somewhere. I'd have to look for it. But Street Fighter has been around. And I think they did a Street Fighter American cartoon series too. Now that I think about it. A live action series. I didn't know they did a live action series. That's even more strange to me. I'd have to look that up. How close are we to maxing out pirate now? I don't want to be a pirate. There we go. Now she's maxed out pirate.
Sure.
Not that I'm trying to max out all of her jobs. I'm just trying to get Sir Mervyn up. But yeah, I didn't know that. I wonder what year that was. Oh, it was a web series. That's okay. Then okay. I definitely would have known about it. Wouldn't have known about it then. Golly. Talking about Street Fighter back in the day. But yeah, I would say that if you got nothing to do on a night where you've never seen it and you just want to see something that's just cheesy and hammy and unplug your brain and just enjoy what they were trying to do. The Street Fighter movie with Raul Julia and Van Damme is cheese schlock. It's actually a kind of a cult classic kind of thing. I remember reading how they cast Cammy in that movie. I think they were like 2 weeks away from production of the movie. So they're 2 weeks away from turning the cameras on, and they don't have a Cammy. They have all the other characters, no Cammy. And the director, Paul Anderson, I think was the director, was like, where are we going to get a blonde British girl that's an actor? And 2014, okay. Where are we going to get a blonde British girl to do this? And they had a magazine there. This is the 90s, okay? There was a magazine there, and Kylie Minogue was on the cover. And I guess, and the guy was like, well, I guess we found our Cammy. So they cast Kylie Minogue, who, to be fair, is one of the biggest stars in the entire world outside of the United States. Like, no one here knows who the hell she is. But she's like this mega star everywhere else in the world. But here it was, she just was, oh, it's a blonde chick. And no, I'm not kidding. That's exactly how she was cast. Is that the direct? They just didn't have a blonde girl to play a blonde British girl to play Cammy, so they just picked up a magazine and just, oh well, let's get this. Who's Kylie Minogue? Let's get her. It's so funny. It's so stupid because it's true, and that's the thing. Is it's just completely dumb. That that's the way that they did it. Now, Alucard, that's an interesting thing. I have questions. Which Jurassic Park games are going to be on there? And I ask for a very specific reason, and you probably already know the reason, but there's a specific reason why I'm asking this question. Because the Jurassic Park license was split between a lot of different publishers at that point. There was the Nintendo Jurassic Park games that were on the Nintendo and Super Nintendo, which a lot of us grew up and played. They weren't great, but they weren't terrible either. They were passable. And then there's the Sega Genesis Jurassic Park games, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, were developed by Sega themselves. And a couple of those are pretty damn fun. So, which games are going to be on this classic collection? Are they going to get the ones that were developed for the Nintendo and the Genesis? Because if that's the case, there's some meat on the bone there. They could make some serious cheddar off of that if they wanted to. You just shared the link with me, didn't you? I'll have to look it up on Twitter. There are good Jurassic Park games out there on both consoles, both Sega and Nintendo. And of course, this is back during a time period where Sega and Nintendo were bitter rivals. It was the White Sox and the Yankees, or Red Sox and the Yankees. I apologize. Bears, Packers, Steelers, Ravens. That was how Nintendo and Sega were. But if they can get the Sega Genesis games with the old Nintendo and Super Nintendo games, that would be a collection worth owning. Something tells me the Genesis games aren't going to be on there. It's just something in the back of my head is telling me that Sega would hold out for a little more cash. Because there was one, I think the Rampage Edition, Jurassic Park Rampage Edition on the Genesis. You could play as a Velociraptor. I think that's true. I think it's the Rampage Edition. Why do I want to say there was 3 games that Sega did based off of Jurassic Park? That's what I want to know. They even did one on the 3DO. Okay, classic game will come with the fan favorite across NES, Game Boy, SNES, Genesis. Alright, so that is going to be a collection worth owning. everybody. That is the NES and SNES versions, which were not developed by Sega, plus the Sega versions. That'll be worth owning. That will be worth owning, guys. It's been out. Oh, so it came out in 2023. Okay. I did. Oh, shit. Who released it? It wasn't Limited Run. Limited Run released it. Interesting. Okay, it was Limited Run. Can you still get it? Or is it gone? And how much is it? It's about to be delisted. Well, that means the license ran out. It's not on the Limited Run store. Oh, I missed it then. I apologize. I only got 6 out of 10. So it's on Steam, okay. So people are trying to snatch up physical copies on it. Well, I just looked it up on Amazon. It's not not there. See all buying options. See, I knew you were doing that. That's on Steam, though. Currently unavailable. Yeah, they got it there. I mean, good lord. That'll be worth owning. They do have some left. That's the thing, guys. I have been beating this drum for a long time, and Alucard knows this as well. I didn't even know they released that, or I would have bought it a long time ago. The licensed stuff is what you want. Licensed stuff is not going to be around a long time. I remember I went to an estate sale a couple years ago, okay? An estate sale is when someone unfortunately passes away, and the family of that person really doesn't have any... the family doesn't want to go through all their shit. So the family just basically has a garage sale, and they hire a company to come in and attach price tags to things, and they just want to get rid of everything in the house. Like, there's really nothing... I got it. I ordered it. Thank you for letting me know. But they look through and they'll you'll find a bunch of stuff there that they're just trying to get rid of, and it's a lot of it's junk, guys. You're gonna go in there and find old plates and coffee filters and just maybe a half-eaten box of Twinkies or something like that. A box with 6 Twinkies in it, some shit like that. But you'll also find like they'll sell all their movies and all their video games and stuff like that. And they promised in this estate sale they had video games. Well, we showed up, sadly, right as they were we were back with 15 minutes until the estate sale's about over. So I went looking for the video games, and they had one game left, and it was Spider-Man and X-Men Arcade's Revenge on the Sega Genesis, and they wanted like $25 for it. And I opened the box, and there was nothing inside the box. The cartridge was not there. And so I took it to him and said, "There's nothing here." Oh gosh, I maxed that out. There's no game.
Sure.
And they said, "Yeah, well, the box and instructions are still worth something." And I said, "You're right, they are, but they're not worth that." So I didn't buy it because I didn't have the game. I have to see what's going on here. Let's see. Do I have 80 followers yet? I do. Because Derek followed me. So I'm going to follow Derek, of course. He's got more followers than I do. But it's fine. Every little bit helps, guys. Every little bit helps. Do what you can. If you're on Rumble and Derek B52, go follow Derek B52. Right.
Sure.
Thief is done. Almost done with him, getting that all taken care of. Carnegie Hall. He's going to lead the orchestra? That's cool. When I went to, they did a Final Fantasy Dear Friends toured here in the United States. That's right. That's where Parasite Eve begins. Tell Uematsu to watch out. Watch the hell out. I went there and he was there, and it was just really cool. He showed up for it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I live outside of Chicago. It's not like I live in outside of Podunk. Chicago is the fourth largest city in the country, fourth largest city in the country. It's so funny that her defense is so high. I want to look at Paladin. She's working on, almost done with that. Yeah, that was, I had a good time at that concert. You were the first ever one, wow. Well, I know Chicago wasn't the first ever. But he was there for it. I do remember that. And the MC of the event was the voice of the Chicago White Sox, the guy who does all the PA announcements and all that for the Chicago White Sox. I do remember he was there. Yeah, dear friends, that was the concert I went to. It was a great concert. They played my favorite Final Fantasy song. They played my favorite Final Fantasy track during that, which was is Terra's theme. Titus. I wonder how many people pronounce it the wrong way. Because I thought it was Titus at first, and it's Titus. And they never say it in 10 because you could rename all the characters in 10. So they never said Titus. It was never spoken. It wasn't spoken until I heard it the first time in Kingdom Hearts, where Wakka says it. And now a lot of people are going to go back right now. I'm going to play through 10 and go, Enigma's wrong. They had to have said his name at least once. No, they never said that I remember. And I just played through 10, if you guys remember, not too long ago. They never went through and said Titus's name. They kept calling him. Another one I really liked, Alucard, was they had an Italian guitarist there who played the Final Fantasy IX. I don't remember the name of the tune, but at the beginning, from the I Want to Be Your Canary. When you and Blank, when Tito and Zidane and Blank get into that fight. It was an old guy on an Italian guitar, and I was like, and it was beautiful the way he played it. It was just a gorgeous experience. Loved it. And I guess I should preface this as well and say it this way, because I don't know if a lot of younger people will know this. Well, I'm sure they do, but it was a pretty big deal to hear orchestrated versions. Oh shit! Of our, I meant to hit him and I didn't. Of our favorite Final Fantasy songs, because we everything was the Black Mage. The Black Mage, he teased the Black Mages being there when they were here, but they basically they were all chip tunes. They were all MIDI music that we had to hear. So for us to be able to go from listening to chip tune music to hearing fully orchestrated versions of our favorite Final Fantasy songs was a huge deal. So a lot of older fans like myself and like Alucard were like, ah. Uematsu teased the Black Mages. He wanted to know if people wanted to see the Black Mages play. Before Advent Children came out. I love Advent Children in the way that there are folks out there who think they're like, oh, they're so good. And it's like, yeah, it's because you played the game. If it wasn't the fact that you played the game, you would hate Advent Children because to a normie who's never played the game, Advent Children makes no sense.
Sure.
No, we're going to champion, so she's on the going to mastery here. Advent Children. And I'm not saying that Advent Children sucks. I love watching it. I'm just saying that as a fan of Final Fantasy VII, I can recognize the fact that if it wasn't for the fact that I had played Final Fantasy VII, if someone had showed me that and I had no context of it, I wouldn't understand any of it. And that's a big difference between a lot of Japanese storytelling and a lot of American or Western storytelling. Is oh, it makes sense. But not to mention they had a messed up translation anyway. Yes. Sephiroth is a Dane Cook of Final Fantasy villains. He gets a lot of attention, and a lot of gals are like, I can fix him, and all that, and he's a fairly mundane ultimate bad guy. But at least he wasn't a Scooby-Doo ending. Final Fantasy has done some Scooby-Doo endings in their day, where you think you've beaten the big bad, and all of a sudden, someone you've never heard of, and has never been alluded to, pops up and goes, I'm actually the big bad. He is! He is the Dane Cook of Final Fantasy villains. He's an emo kid who wants love from his mommy. That's all he really is. I'm sorry. If it wasn't for the fact that a lot of anime girls, anime otakus want to make him claim him as their husbando, he wouldn't be that well remembered. Zemus and the Final Fantasy IX. Two of the best Final Fantasies have Scooby-Doo endings to them. Zemus and Final Fantasy IX are the ones that come to mind immediately. And Final Fantasy VIII had a Scooby-Doo ending. That chick who could stop time, whatever her name is. Yeah, exactly. Actually, 4 had a double Scooby-Doo ending, because you had Zemus, and then you had Zeromus after that. And I don't particularly care for the Scooby-Doo endings. I think that's the weakest part of the game. Final Fantasy IV is a lovely game. I love it to death, but good lord, the Scooby-Doo ending at the end of that, you gotta be kidding me. You're making me hate Golbez through, 40, 50 hours of gameplay, and then you get to the end and find out that he's not a bad guy at all. Ultimisia. Yeah, that's her. That's correct. But to be fair to Final Fantasy VIII, there's a lot wrong with Final Fantasy VIII besides the fact there's a Scooby-Doo villain at the end of it. Scooby-Doo ending. For those who don't know what I'm talking about with Scooby-Doo endings, it's you think we've gotten to the bad guy, right? We've beaten the bad guy. Let's tear off his mask and see who he really is. And that's kind of what I mean by Scooby-Doo ending. Yeah, Final Fantasy VIII has a lot wrong with it, and I know it's got some fans who love it, and y'all can love it all you want to. If it wasn't for Final Fantasy 13, 8 would be the worst game in the whole series, in my opinion. There is so much wrong with 8 that it's... I don't even know where they were going with it. That's the... First of all, the cast is useless. Squall, Rinoa, and Cypher are the only characters in that entire game that mean a damn to the story at all. You could replace the rest of the cast with the Three Stooges and the Harlem Globetrotters, and it wouldn't have changed one damn bit. That's the first problem I have with it. The second problem is the game doesn't make any sense with the draw system, because they want you to be able to draw magic to use it. Okay, grind to draw magic, alright. Well, if you draw magic and then you connect it to your statistics and then you use it, then you lose your statistics. So what's the point of using the magic if you're just going to draw it to boost your statistics? Doesn't make any sense. And the third thing I have a problem with is the story is held together with twist ties and crazy glue, basically, that you could tell at the parts of the game where they wrote themselves into a corner and they didn't know what to do to get out, so they just started blaming shit and trying to just see what would stick at the time to make the story work. Dice Kojima many discussions with Vince and Paul about creating a first-person Metal Gear Solid together after the release of Metal Gear Solid 4. So they're not, obviously they can't do that now. That's an interesting idea though, Zampella. That's Call of Duty right there. I don't hate that. But anyway, with Final Fantasy VIII, what I was saying, the story. They get to the part where all the characters in the game, all the party members get together and realize they've known each other since they were babies, since they were way little kids. Even though they lived and grew up halfway across the world from each other and all that. They all grew up in the same orphanage. But they don't remember. They don't remember any of it. Why don't they remember it? It's because the summons we've been using make us forget. Really? That's your big hook? Is that the summons, Guardian Forces, make you forget? That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Why even include that tidbit in there? Because once again, the cast is completely useless. They're underdeveloped. Squall, Rinoa, and Cypher are the only ones that are developed worth a damn. The other people don't frickin' matter. If they would have done it where Cypher, Rinoa, and Squall grew up in an orphanage together and they don't remember it because they were too young or whatever, okay, you could actually build around that. But having all these other arbitrary characters, which were great characters, by the way, that they just did not flesh out or use because their character development was sacrificed at the expense of Squall, Rinoa, and Cypher. It makes no sense. It's just no. It's a horrible story. That should have been a lot better. It could have been a lot better. As soon as we get Sir Mervyn his flowers here, he's got one more job to max out after this. Once we get that, we'll take them on their merry way. It's weird. But yeah, I don't particularly care for Final Fantasy VIII. The only one I like worse than that I dislike worse than 8 is 13. 13 is an abomination. It's funny too because the defenders love it, and they love it, and that's fine. I'm not saying anyone has to agree or disagree with me, but just if you're talking to someone who's been a Final Fantasy fan for, we're running up on 40 years of Final Fantasy here, guys, and I've been a fan since the beginning. I'll tell you exactly what I think of each specific game, and which ones I think are good and which ones I don't think are particularly good. And 8 is one I don't think is that good. Second worst. I'm sure that there's going to be, if there's any Final Fantasy VIII fans who get a hold of that, they're going to, what I just said, they're going to find ways to poke holes in it, which is fine. It's their right. They have just as much right to like it as I have to dislike it. But, God, it's just, 8 was, to me, 8 felt rushed. And they were so predetermined, so occupied, I guess, not determined, occupied, with what they could do graphically with the game, that they didn't go back to marinate on the things that made Final Fantasy Final Fantasy. They had gone back and they'd have fleshed out the characters, made them all... Oh, she's about to max out Monster Masher. Fleshed them all out, made them all, their own character, and had reasons to be within the story and everything. And instead, it was this Degrassi, drama, high school drama with. Enigma, it seems like you don't care for it. Yeah, he was only 48. It's, we were talking about that earlier. Oh, that's Desi. Yeah, you're right, Desi. Kind of funny, right? I'm not kind of funny that he's gone, but 2 years my junior, and what was I scared of a month ago? And everybody kept telling me, "Oh, and people were like, "Oh, you're too young." And yeah, you just never know, though. Poor Vanderbeek. In fact, I was looking Twitter the other day. Someone was shared that the PlayStation, tomorrow's the PlayStation Direct. And it says, everybody's hoping for a Final Fantasy 13 remake. And it's like, no, we're not. I didn't say it because I didn't want to get into a bitch fest with people. But no, not everyone's hoping.
Sure.
Demo, yeah, kiosk. I remember, yeah, I think Pat the NES Punk has one of these. I remember these things. Ah, gosh. Yeah, I don't care for 8 or 13. Don't care for 8 or 13. Da 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 da. Yeah, I think he does have one. If there's a poster child for overpaying for Nintendo merchandise, it's Pat Contry. That's that's for damn sure. If someone were to come up tomorrow and show me an article that said someone paid 6 figures for a Nintendo game, I would be like, could someone please tell me where Pat Contry is right now? Can we get a location check on him? He's kind of fallen out though. He was kind of a. I watched his early stuff. He's actually pretty funny, but I don't know if he just kind of fell out of love of doing the nerd style episodes or what. But he just doesn't do a lot of that anymore that I've seen. Maybe he does. I know he stopped. I don't know if he's doing them again or what, but he's done some funny stuff. He's kind of the guy that I remember seeing some of the stuff that he was saying that he had. And where I first remember realizing that the word rare doesn't mean valuable. And yeah, he does podcasts now. I know he does a podcast. That's easier to produce, quite honestly, as a podcast, as opposed to doing full episodes like the nerd does. But I just remember seeing some of this stuff and finding out that he paid a lot of money for this stuff because it's rare. And it just made me go, just because it's rare doesn't mean it's valuable. I'm sure he's a perfectly nice guy. I'm not talking shit about him. He's one of those guys that's, I don't know how old he is, but, he's an old school Nintendo fan, just like I am. So, I grew up with that shit. Sounds like he grew up with that shit, too. I know for a fact he's got both Nintendo World Championship cartridges, unless he sold them. But he had the gray and the gold. And I remember he was on an episode of Pawn Stars trying to sell them. The gray and the gold cartridges. And they didn't offer him near what he paid for both. I don't think they offered him what he paid for the gold one. According to rumor, anyway. Yeah, he probably still has them. I remember he was on Pawn Stars, though. I do remember he tried to sell them on Pawn Stars. Oh, yeah, there we are. Wrong button again. Sure. I have not, but I'm sure they're insane. They're probably worth quite a bit of money. People pay the craziest amount for things. I just don't get it.
Sure.
And he's on his last job. Nope. We're good. Yeah, live service. Goodbye, Remedy. The thing they'll hang their hat on to that whole thing too is they'll say, "Hey, see, one thing will work. There'll be one success in live service, and then all the rest of the companies will point out and go, see, this is what everybody wants." It's like, no, that's not what everybody wants. One thing broke through. Look at all the failures, and one thing was a success. What makes you think you're going to do any better with it? There are so many. I mean, the live service model does not work nearly as well as they think. And the thing is, if you want to release something on like an iPad, you know, or the Google Play Store that's a live service game, if you're not charging money to play the game, and you want to take a stab at it. Invest your company money on it. You know, there are successes on the the iTunes Store, Apple Store, and things like that. Absolutely, there are. There are games that make money doing that, but they're not charging you anything to play it. You don't have to play to pay usually to play those games. That doesn't mean that that's what everybody and their grandmother is wanting, and it definitely does, especially if you're going to do this live service thing with franchises that game franchises that people love, or franchises that people love. Period. Like Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was a dog shit idea and a dog shit game created by what used to be a very talented company that I was excited for. And it's a piece of shit, and it deserved its place on the pyre. But go ahead, keep AAA gaming companies keep telling us how everybody wants live service games, please. Please go to Ubisoft and talk to Ubisoft about wonderful business practices about having people not own their games and wanting to nickel and dime them for as much as they possibly can. Please, I'm sure we would love to hear all about your attempts at monetizing everything humanly possible. And then, of course, blaming your audience when they tell you we don't want everything monetized as much as humanly possible. They monetized Alan Wake. Well, Alan Wake, the first Alan Wake's a great game. And I didn't remember, did they really try to monetize Control? I played Control. I didn't think it was they overly monetized that. But I could be misremembering. I wasn't looking to buy anything in that game outside of just the game itself. And I only own Alan Wake 2 because of the I got it for free off PlayStation Plus. And I've never downloaded it and I've never played it. I didn't know they tried to monetize the hell out of people with that with Alan Wake. Well, the first Alan Wake they didn't. With Concord and or not Concord, Concord. Yeah, they tried to monetize the hell out of Concord. Control. I don't remember them doing that with that game, but. You got it for free from them? Okay. And Epic. The reviews for Alan Wake 2 were good from but those are the journalists reviewing again, so I don't know if I trust or believe any of what the journalists say. I know it sold like a donkey's fart, so not a lot of people bought it to begin with. We have managed to really increase the level of our lower level characters here too, to a point where I'm pretty happy. So this is working out. And I know it's not a lot of experience points we're getting for doing this, but the truth of the matter is that we're getting the points so much faster by doing it this way. Yeah, 16-bit. Especially if we're looking at the entire 16-bit era, not just the West. If we're looking at the Japanese RPG, oh, you said JRPG, yeah, 16-bit. There's no doubt. It's 16-bit. I'll take if all I had to play was JRPGs for the rest of my life, I would take the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis RPGs, JRPGs over anything else. The Final Fantasies, the Dragon Quests, the Breath of Fire, the Tales games that were on there, Lunar. Well, exploded is kind of a misnomer. I hate to say it this way, but JRPGs in the 16-bit era still weren't what they should have been because sales-wise. They started in 8-bit, but they didn't really. They exploded with Final Fantasy VII here in the West. But if we're just looking overall, you're right. It's 16-bit. I would take the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis JRPGs over any other era. fact, I remember 3, 4, 5 years ago, one of the journalist websites had written an article. Someone wrote an article for a journalist website called the top 10 JRPG or role-playing games for the Sony PlayStation, the original PlayStation. And the first line of the article said, "The PlayStation wasn't known for its wide selection of role-playing games." And I replied to it, and I said, on Twitter, I replied to it and said, it wasn't known for its wide selection of role-playing games. I said it had frickin' Final Fantasy, it had Dragon Quest, it had, Tales, it had Suikoden, it had Breath of Fire, plus it had remasters of the role-playing games that came out generations before. Final Fantasy and Lunar and games like that. Said it had more RPGs than any console before it. Did anyone actually research this before writing it? And then they took the article down. Because it was poorly written. Because the correct answer, the correct way to start that article would have been, the Sony PlayStation was the console that put JRPGs on the map. Here are the 10 best, in my opinion, or in our opinion here, whatever website it is. I agree with you there. The SNES, I'll tell you, I'll give you a great example as to why that's true, Alucard. And that is UN Squadron. If you play UN Squadron is a Capcom arcade game. And if you play it in the arcades, it is a standard staged base Hump. You're in an airplane, there's planes coming at you, you shoot the airplanes, there's a boss at the end, it's bullet hell, there's a lot of bullets. You know, it's nothing, it's a great game, it's a fun game. But I wouldn't go out on a limb and say, like, oh my god, this is mind-boggling how good this is. The Super Nintendo version of UN Squadron, they went back to formula and did the entire game over, where the stages were the same, the planes were the same, they had, pilots, a whole 9 yards, but they changed the way the game played. It was more of a save up your money to buy new planes, and then they had a map system, so you could go to which stage you wanted to. Early there was trucks on the map that you could go and you could bomb and get more money, so you could buy better planes and have more money to buy equipment and weapons. It was a complete reinvention of that game, and they didn't have to do that, but they did. They could have just done a one-for-one remake of the arcade game and gotten away with it, and people still would have bought it. But they didn't do that. They went back and they made a completely new experience. And it's one of my favorite games on the whole console because of it. And there were RPG mechanics and everything. It was just really well done. And they built off of what they had, and they turned it into a completely different experience. It was not the same experience. Yeah, did you ever notice how the Sega Genesis claimed to have arcade ports of their arcade games, and then you went and played them and found out they weren't really arcade ports? They weren't as good. They're like, oh, this is arcade-style graphics. Then you go and you play, like, Altered Beasts, and you go, yeah, this isn't really the arcade version of Altered Beasts. Speaking of arcade collections that should really exist, Sega, you guys should do that. Sega Genesis Arcade Collection. Make it happen. I would be all over that. It was still fun, but it was borderline false advertising. Because it wasn't, you weren't buying the arcade game, you were buying a port of the arcade game. It was a better port than it would have been on the 8-bit, yes. But it's still, Golden Axe on the Sega Genesis is not Golden Axe on the arcade. Yep, they could do Shinobi, they could do Golden Axe, they could do Altered Beasts, Afterburner. There's a bunch of games they could do, Sega could do. Was Crazy Taxi an arcade game? It wouldn't surprise me if it was. I know that Crazy Taxi was kind of when arcades were starting to die out. The arcades at that point were... The consoles had caught up to the arcade machines. So it used to be when you could go to the arcades, like we were just saying with Golden Axe and games like that, they could... that you could get a more... The arcade experience was better than the home console experience. But when the Dreamcast came out, that kind of evened out, where the games you were playing at home were damn near identical to the arcade games, which removed the real need to buy arcade or to go to the arcades. And I know they tried. Capcom, I remember Capcom. It was Marvel vs. Capcom 2 to unlock all the characters and all the stuff in the game. They really wanted you to go to the arcade and take the Japanese arcade units of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 had Dreamcast memory card slots in it, and it was made for you to put your card into, and you could only get certain currency to buy certain things in MVC2 from those arcade machines. So they would want you to go to the arcade and play MVC2 up there, then with your memory card, take your memory card home and use the points that you would accumulate to unlock more stuff at home on the Dreamcast version, which was genius, quite honestly. Except for the fact that it kind of didn't matter at that point, you know. Especially since you could go onto a website and buy a memory card that had everything already locked on it for you anyway. But not that I did that. I'm full of shit, I am. Hey, I got a bot today. Look at you. First Twitch bot I've had in a while. I haven't had one today, so... But that was Capcom trying to keep arcades alive. That was what Capcom was doing. Oh, hey, it's 4 o'clock. It's time for someone to get his treat. Give me 1 second, guys, so I can medicate the whisk. It's whiskey time, so give me 1 second to medicate him. I'll be right back. You want a treat? Let's get a treat. Come on. Treat time for the whisk. J'arrive. Alright, sorry about that. Everybody knows 4 o'clock. I have to give my dog his medication. He has a hypothyroid, and he needs meds for it. 1 hour before he eats dinner. Which means when I leave here at 5, he's going to eat some dinner. Well, he'll go outside first. He'll go OUT, and then he will have his food, his meal. And then I have to go to the store because I'm making ramen tonight, so I need to get mushrooms, green onions, and just mushrooms and green onions for certain. Anything else that strikes my fancy to put in the ramen, I will look at. Jester is the one we're trying to max him out on. Oh, he's almost there. Awesome sauce. He's almost done. And that pleases me. But anyway, guys, that's kind of... Gosh, I feel like I've been ranting a lot. I've been ranting about frickin' Adam Sessler and then Final Fantasy VIII. What else do we want to rant about today? Alright. He's almost done with Jester. And Aisha there is almost done with all the jobs. She's almost got, once she maxes out Druid and Heroine, not that drug, the female version of Hero. She'll have all the jobs maxed out. To the best of my knowledge, there's one more character that we're going to get. There's Jester. He got Jester maxed out. Okay.
Sure.
Go. All right. I forgot which one we were... Oh, it's up here. Okay. Now I did see we had a vicious one up here. We're going to try to take him out. We should be pretty well set to do it. But gotta make sure. And it's that dude right up there, that Mudman marionette looking thing. But before we do that, I want to save, and then we're going to come back and we'll pop him and see if we can get him.
Oh.
Okay. Interesting. Does that mean this entire town has... Yeah, it looks like this whole town's is different. Nope, that was dumb. Nothing I need. Nothing that we need, no sir. We're gonna go up there and whip that dude's ass, or try to. While we do our ting here. We're doing something. There we go. Oh, see, level up. Alright, let's see. We're probably plenty strong enough here. Damn, okay. Oops, not enough MP.
I'll cleave thee in
He probably has enough power now, so we need to take him down now. There we go. The vicious one. There we go. Alright, let's go recover. Another one of these. There we go. Alright. We're at 500,000 gold. How close is she? She's not that close. We're getting there, though. So I was talking with Desi last night. Desi did get home last night about 7:30. She was in Canada over the week on Monday. Yeah, got back last night. I had to think about that for a second. Like, yeah, she was gone Monday. She was back yesterday. She's going to go out of town a couple more times over the next month, so we're going to have some more bonus streams coming up. Stay tuned to my Twitter account to let you know about that, eh? It's a she slime. Lavender. Is this a different time? 30 years ago, I had someone lose like you do. Okay, so 30 years ago. Oh, that's Caraway. Okay. So this is 30 years in the future from where we were last time. No, that's not what I did. Oh, there. The pots and barrels are made to be destroyed. Yeah, that too. Trying to open up that other chest of drawers there. That one. That looks like a... know if we really want what was in there.
Oh.
He's just got an item shop hanging out on the roof. Oh wait, he has equipment. Mercury bandana is all I got. Never mind then. Let's go down to the lobby. Let's go down to the lobby.
Oh. Oh.
Go check it out. That's what we do, baby. That's right, baby. And they just got a treasure chest just hanging out here. How does people walk by that and not open it up? Why are we the only ones that go, oh, treasure, and open it up? And everybody else is like, yeah, we don't need to open that. It's fine. Mini medals are my favorite, boy. Is it those? That's good. Okay, there's up there. Well, I would be a fool not to go down here and see what we got. More seeds. We get a lot of seeds. Still building up her defense.
Hold on.
That's what the bitch said. Da 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 da.
Oh.
So he wants us to take him just back to where we just were. It's a lot of running around we're doing right now. Yep.
Yeah.
That's enough jibber jabber, fool.
My.
You are not welcome in this convent, really. There's been a church at the top, a convent at the top of this hill, right underneath his house this whole time, and he's never once said, "Let me go see what that big ass building is up there." Down here we go. It is. I want us to visit the garden one more time. Take that, asshole. Okay. Doesn't say where to go.
Oh.
There's nothing here. Wilted Heart. It says visit the Green Thumb Gardens of the past once more. That's what we're doing.
Oh.
Unless we're supposed to go into this house? Yeah, okay, here it is. Door won't budge. It's not going anywhere. Nah, damn it. I do that all the time. Okay. So she's over here. We all get unhappy sometimes. It's just how it works. Oh, you're a good boy.
Oh.
I see that too. Two things in the garden. No, not Ginger. We gotta help Ginger.
Huh?
Let's hope Ginger's gonna be okay. Ginger's a boy's name? When did that happen? Why I forget, because I will forget. My dear sick husband, not do it. Oh my. Look after Ginger, would ya?
Oh.
We should go find out what's going on. We're going back into the house here. That's the big house. Eet de victuals. Eet them victuals.
Yes. Huh?
Slander and mouth. Wow. She's going to give Maribel there a run for her money for being a bitch. I do that all the time in this game. You're just a right bitch. Find the evidence that she's looking for. Oh. Now where's she going? She dropped something. It's called the dubious concoction, it is.
Yeah, I know exactly what this is.
Oh. Oh.
A lot of running around in this mission. What about Ginger? Someone save Ginger. Your vintage poison your vitals. Pop that stopper and gulp it down, bitch. Go ahead.
Oh.
Dillweeds come back in. Dandelion. That's actually it's got that. Oh, next town over. Are they gonna go try to kill what's his name now? They're telling us to go back to the present. Oh, Robin Hood. Robin Hood there. He's Robin Hood. Robin Hood. She's almost done with Druid. And he's almost done with Gladiator, so. We're doing it to it, baby. I know we have a red thing to put up there. What am I doing? Oh, that's all we needed to do? Okay. That made no sense just to go there for that. Okay. Iron helmet. Ooh, that was a big one. Metal slime. Knight. Got him. This looks familiar. Somewhat. Ow! Good lord, sometimes just get this back itch. Ah! Ah! Ooh, there we are. There you go. Yeah, this looks like the map from the old... where the roamers camp is. That's what it looks like to me. But we're not going to start this today. We'll have to come back. We'll do this tomorrow. It's a good stopping off point, it is. Let's see, got you there. Let's take in what the game gives us for a few minutes here, I guess. Just do a little bit of the grind here before we go. See, a level up. see him. Druid, she's almost done with, right? Yeah, she's in the last stage of Druid. And then Heroine will be the only thing she's not maxed out, which we're working on, so. So as we're getting to the end of today's stream, tomorrow, of course, is Thursday. Everything will be normal tomorrow. 9 a.m. to noon, and then 1 to 5 as per usual. Okay. Down, down. It's so funny that this is the best place to grind for vocational points. At least so far. There's so many enemies here, you can just, and you can cut them down so fast. And some guy asked me today, how are you level 51 at this point in the game? It's a JRPG, dude. Figure it out. It's called grinding. Got it up there. She got Heroine up another level. That'll put her at 5 stars. He's getting really close to maxing out Gladiator. Another level for that for him too. That's good. Okay, let's go ahead and head here. That's right. Okay. Let's go ahead and move up. Yeah. I said mute. There we are. And up here. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for this evening or today. I'm going to go ahead and go. I got to take out the dog. Got to go to the store and get a couple things to make for dinner tonight for Desi. Tomorrow morning, I'll be back at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to pick up right here where we're leaving off with Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Pretty pleased with the progress we've made so far. We've got all of our characters floating around level 40 plus. 3 of our characters already have all the vocations maxed out. Aisha is almost there, and Sir Mervyn is on his way. So, if you've not done so yet, please follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Kick, and Rumble. Subscription on YouTube would be great as well. I'd appreciate that. My thing is shaking like crazy. If you're on Rumble, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and smash that like. Go ahead and comment. Let people know that I'm here. Share my stuff. Guys, all that stuff is free. I'm not asking to spend any money. I really am not. I just want to grow. The only way I'm going to get any better at what I'm doing is to grow. So whatever you guys can do to help me with that, I'd appreciate it. Now, if you do want to help financially, I'm fine with that. I have a place you can go for that. It's called Fourth Wall. evilenigma.fourthwall or shop. Go to Fourth Wall. Go to my Evil Enigma shop. I have it right there on my my thing. You can get things there like my stickers. I have stickers there. I have water bottles there. I have T-shirts. I've got hats. I've got question mark jersey that I love wearing. I've got all sorts of stuff. Rocks glasses, coffee cups, all sorts of things. Go check it out. If you want, anything you buy there goes directly to help me and make me bigger and better at what I'm doing. Okay, so I'd appreciate it if you guys would. That's weird. Would do that if you want to spend money. I'm not asking to. I'm not begging you to, but it's there if you'd like to. Right now, I just want to grow. It's whatever you guys can help me grow. I'd appreciate it. Okay, so tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, I'm going to be here. We're going to pick up right here. We're leaving off on Dragon Quest VII. All right. So you guys have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.